and Sarah have been the leaders. We've been the followers. As far as using the technology to communicate, I mean, you guys have always been, well, of course we provided the means for you early on.
Right.
But, you guys were the first to adopt the technology, and we've had to come along to keep up with you.
Yeah, you had a text.
Well, a multimedia message, a picture. You sent me the first one I ever saw. But yeah, I mean, you guys are the leaders. We come up with some ideas, like you may not have chosen, you may not have figured out that Skype was going to be the only way to communicate with you down in Argentina.
Right.
But you knew the technology was out there.
Right. Well, I think a lot of a lot of the things you mentioned, I think that we kind of worked through together as a family, before I left for Argentina, we all sat down and worked with the cameras. We set them up and, made sure that we could actually make calls and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to think that we, as a child, even though you're the adult and the one who's supposed to teach me, that we can have some sort of middle ground, because technology is so new that we have to learn it together.
That's right, learn it together.
Yeah.
Like the other night, I mean, that was really cool. I was in a motel room in Fort Collins, and, even though we were 60 miles apart, which is much closer than we are now,
Right.
I still felt like I was removed from everything. I wasn't home here with Mom. I wasn't there with you guys. But, I still felt like I was home, Like I told you, back in the old days when I would go on a fire, if I could find a telephone, I had 10 minutes that I could use to call home. But now it's like wherever I go, I'm connected. I don't go anywhere where I'm not connected anymore, I'm connected to you, I'm connected to Sarah, I'm connected to Mom. All the time, and that's so different than what it used to be for me.
And those 10 minutes were precious, because sometimes I didn't hear from Dad. I mean, he could call me from the office and say, I'm going to North Dakota, and I might not hear from him for days. And then he'd call me, and those 10 minutes were precious.
Because you were worried about him.
And I was worried about him, and if, and he had 2 little girls that wanted to talk to him.
And now it's like wherever I go, I'm never more than a phone call away. None of us are.
Yep.
Or, a text or a G-chat.
Something.
Or an email. So we do take it for granted.
Mm-hmm. Because you know how important those phone calls were when his little girls wanted to talk to their daddy.
But they still are.
They are, yeah. They
were
so important.
Sarah and I still talk to both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly regularly.